Hello, bonjour, namaste, ni hao, and ohio everybody. What is going on? It is Galeriot here, and welcome back to the YouTube channel once again for another Danmachi Battle Chronicle video. And today, we are back with yet another video about the Abyssal Exploration, but this time around, it's not about the beta version. No, the official live version of Abyssal Exploration is now in-game, fully equipped with the upper floors, the middle floors, and the lower floors, including a bunch of battle items as well, a bunch of brand new battle items as well. Now, I'm going to go over every single battle item, which floors you should be focusing on, and what rewards each floor gives as well in this video, as well as actually going through one of these floors as well in video, and actually showing you guys a map that somebody has generated for the best floors as well. Now, of course, if you guys go on to enjoy this video, please be sure to leave a like down below, subscribe to the channel for more content, and let me know in the comment section down below if you guys think Abyssal Exploration is fun. What do you guys think they could improve on? What do you guys think that is already good as well? Let me know in the comment section down below. I'm curious to see what you guys have to say down below. And remember, anything you feel bad or good about these floors or any of these game modes that are in the game right now, put it in the survey. The survey is there for us to obviously give our feedback. Now, of course, a lot of people will say they'll only listen to the JP players, and while they might do that, as long as we are being honest and we're being truthful, and as well as, of course, giving our feedback as well and not just ignoring it, there is always a small chance that they might look at it and actually be like, okay, that's actually a pretty good idea, right? So as long as you do that, that's the most important thing. Of course, I will be making my survey video in a few days time. I'm just letting it pass by a little bit just so that I get an idea of how I feel about this anniversary as a whole, letting the honeymoon period go by a little bit, and then giving my verdict on what I think about the anniversary and just generally the game so far, you know, a whole year in, basically, right? A whole year in, and since the start of the game to now, how I feel about the game, right? Okay. The Abyssal Exploration, let's talk about that now. That's why we're here, so let's break it down. So like I said, there are three floors here: the upper, middle, lower floors, and of course each of them have a different recommended power, and they also drop different battle items. Now, one thing to note is, from what I've experienced, is that I've been able to actually see the battle items that are dropped in the upper floors also drop in the lower floors. So the lower floors automatically are a better option, right? Well, yes, they are the better option. I think they are the best option by far, because not only do you get all the battle items, and including what I feel is personally the best battle item with this one, of course, the Wish Feather. I think this is a must-have for a lot of players, if not a, you know, definite get for most players, purely because of what it's capable of doing, right? Being able to actually reduce your special move cooldown every time you defeat an enemy. I think that's insane, right? That's insane. But along with all of that and being able to get this battle item, and along with that, the other battle items in the middle and lower floor, upper floor, sorry, you also get fragments for the ability board. You heard that right. This is basically an infinite farm for you to get ability board fragments, which is so important, especially now that they've added that second ability board, right? We've been saying, you know, the second ability board is a little bit too expensive. Getting to it is going to be a headache, and it, you know, it seems extremely powerful. Well, I mean, if we are able to farm the ability board items, it's not really a bad thing necessarily. Now, of course, it's going to be a time-consuming process. The Abyssal Exploration, each stage takes about 10 minutes, I would say, at the very minimum, if you're giving your all into it and you're actually exploring, which you should do, by the way. Abyssal Exploration is basically the Danmachi's dungeon exploration. You are exploring the dungeon, you are trying to combat as many enemies as possible, and you're trying to get through these stages as quickly as possible as well at the same time. But you want to clear as much as possible. That is the priority. If you're not clearing all of the map and you're not doing everything that the map has to offer to you, you are effectively wasting your stamina, right? It is 120 stamina. It's not cheap whatsoever, but if you explore the entire map, it is absolutely worth it. Now, when it comes to the team setup and everything, right, as you can see right here, we have my squad that is under 100 cost. You need to have 100 cost to be able to actually do these stages. Of course, each unit has their own cost, with speed, support units, as well as tank units costing a little bit less. You know, and then of course attacker units costing more. But from my understanding is that because it's a special obviously Abyssal Exploration, and of course these are the brand new units, Bell and Isis cost is actually lowered for this specific abyssal exploration. I expect the next abyssal exploration probably going to be when we do get Harmonia and Aphrodite, to cause them to also have a lower cost as well. So you want to effectively take low cost units into this fight. Now, one thing to note from what my understanding is, and this is what they have said in the notice themselves in the confirmed issues, is that if you go into the abyssal exploration, the recommended power is just a sort of guide basically. Even if your recommended power is lower than displayed, unlike other game modes where if you are lower than the recommended power, the enemies become stronger, in abyssal exploration, the enemy's strength remains unchanged. So that is actually an advantage you can take into the abyssal exploration, because if you are unable to match the cost, for some reason, let's say you don't have Bell and Eyes and therefore your cost is way too high, what I would personally recommend is taking somebody like Wedding Ryu or Green Eyes, the other Green Eyes, right? Taking them and taking one healer or shielder basically. And basically what you can then do is run a DPS and support unit effectively, or DPS and a tank unit to help protect you for the rest of the fight basically. That is the idea behind abyssal exploration and how you can basically you know, avoid the whole cost issues by just taking 2 units in, because the recommended power is just that. It's just a guide. It's nothing else. Now, of course, I do have level 80 units, so that's what helps me a lot. And I also have Haruhime, so again, helps me a lot. But try it out, see how it goes. If you have a support unit, make sure to use it. Miak in this situation, I think Miak is actually a pretty good unit to actually run in this abyssal exploration low-key, purely because he actually gives HP recovery to all units as well. You could also take a look at other, you know, adventure units like the likes of Cassandra. Philvis is still very, very good, of course, giving a shield to all units. Otaro, when you get him as Awakenings, can give a shield to all units. Lafia, Water Lafia, able to support units as well. So try and take units that are able to team-wide heal and give a good amount of heal as well. So make sure you guys do that in order to basically, you know, avoid any issues with, of course, running only 1 DPS unit and 1 support unit rather than maybe 2 DPSs and 1 support unit, or 1 DPS, 1 tank and 1 support unit, right? That way you can avoid any and all of those issues. All right, let's go into the abyssal exploration. Well, enough dilly-dallying. Let's get into it and let's break it all down. Now, what I'm going to do primarily is I'm going to go through the first 2 floors. I think that's what I'm going to do, because if I do all 3 floors, it's going to be a very long video. What I am also going to do to help you guys is give you guys an idea on how I do the abyssal exploration right now. So right now, I'm doing a tactic that was suggested to me by a viewer of mine on a live stream that I did, where basically I hug the wall on one side and I just follow it through the entirety of the map. That is the way I'm personally doing it right now, where I just hug the wall of the map and I just follow it directly and try and go through all the floors if possible, all the chambers of the floor, I should say, more so specifically. So I'm going around all parts of the floor basically and trying to look around and see exactly what I'm dealing with effectively. So that way we're basically going around and trying to explore as much of the floors as possible, while also taking on as many enemies, because as I said, the more enemies you face, the more drops you get. So you want to just try and defeat as many enemies as possible, just so that you can get as many items as possible. Of course, another thing to note is that you want to try and stick to your DPS unit as much as possible and not switch out unless absolutely necessary because of heals or whatever it is, because in this game mode there is a buff that you get for however long you stay in the fight. The more buffs you get for your unit, basically the more damage you get on your unit effectively, right? But along with that, what I am going to start employing very, very soon is actually using a map generated by one of the JP players. The JP players have become cartographers and have actually found out and, you know, basically created the entire layout of the map. So if I go over to good old Twitter and we take a look at this user's post effectively, right? Big shout outs to, of course, the homie Galeriot, if I'm not mistaken. My kanji is really bad. Galeriot is, I think, his name. So he said, a deep exploration, spoiler alert for lower level strategy. I tried conquering the lower levels from the first to third floors. On the second floor, I was unable to defeat the enemy within this time limit and was unable to see beyond the rock. Maybe next time I'll make a middle one too. So you can see he's got a full layout here, including where the portals are, the maps and also certain bits and bobs, of course, of what you need from the map as well, in terms of like certain points, certain enemies, what spawns, what doesn't spawn, and so on and so forth as well. I'm gonna bring up a English version of this as well, basically, right? Let me have a look if I can find it right here. I'm gonna put up the English version as well, and all of this will be in my in the description of this video as well, so you guys can go and check it out for yourselves as well. But I have the English versions as well, so you guys can see exactly what is the enemies that you see in each of these floors, and obviously what you can get. Is there a probability? There's a 30 seconds challenge where you get some golden enemies as well, as you can see right there, and so on and so forth. This is very helpful. This is so helpful, and I'm gonna obviously, like I said, leave it in the comment section or the description of this video, one of the two, and therefore so you guys can take advantage of this and use it for your own benefit, and of course be able to allow you to also find out what is the best way to take on the entirety of the lower floors. Because like I said, you do not want to waste your stamina, right? You don't want to waste your stamina unnecessarily, because at the end of the day, you are using a lot of stamina. You're 120 stamina, and obviously you have an hour time limit, of course, right? You have an hour time limit, and it resets every time you activate the portal, which in my opinion is one of the better changes they've made since the beta version, of course, right? Because in the beta version, it was only an hour period. You only had an hour, and that was it. So in that sense, it's pretty good if you're willing to spend that much time in, of course, this game mode. You will obviously see a huge benefit, of course, to you know, exploring as much as possible, right? You will find a huge benefit into exploring this map as much as possible. So make sure you guys are obviously taking advantage of the map that I've shown you guys on screen earlier on, and along with that, try and defeat as many enemies as possible. Now, one thing to note is that you want to try and find as many golden mobs as possible, or try and defeat as many golden mobs as possible, as they seem to, at least from my understanding and from what I've experienced in my run so far, they seem to have a bonus in potentially getting you a higher chance of a rare drop, basically. So you want to try and do that as well, to basically get an obviously a higher chance of getting something good from your runs as well, because obviously a super rare drop, or just a rare drop, I should say, not a super rare drop. I don't think there are super rare drops in here. Have a higher chance of you getting basically what is the equivalent of a load of UR battle items, potentially some fragment of wisdom, and so on and so forth. Some really good items, of course, right? Some really good items that you will want, of course, for your runs, right? You will want those things for your runs. So just keep that in mind. It's going to be super imperative that you guys obviously get that, right? 100%, 110%. Make sure you guys get these golden mobs. There we go. You can see those, right? Those were the golden mobs I was talking about. All right, there we go. Let's do this. Nice. All right, beautiful stuff. All right, let's try and get through this. So this is a time limit dungeon again as well, as you can see. We're trying to defeat enemies as quickly as we can. We missed out on that guy. He goes and disappears, unfortunately, as well. So you want to try and beat them as quickly as possible. The idea with that mode is to defeat them as quickly as possible. When you see the timer in the top middle and it says 30 seconds to go, try and defeat as many of them as possible, because they just keep spawning. It's just an infinite spawn, basically. There is an end to it, but it is basically the equivalent of an infinite spawn, effectively. And you want to try and beat them as quickly as possible. So let's try and get this break going, and then we'll do this. And then we'll kill it. There we go. Easy W. Easy W. Now, I could easily just go through the portal, but that's not what we want to do. We want to explore the entirety of the dungeon, right? We want to explore the entirety of this floor, and we want to go through everything. So now I will backtrack, and I'll stick to this left-hand side. And as you can see there, two rare drops again. So it's super important that you do explore as much as you can, because every like nook and cranny, it's actually very similar to Danmachi Infinite Combat in a way, where the enemies, right, they will spawn depending on where you walk, effectively, kind of. It's kind of weird in a way, basically. It's kind of weird in a way. So you want to try and obviously explore as much as you can. Otherwise, you are going to be missing out on some really good battle items. You will miss out on some really good battle items. Nice. Okay, we managed to get that guy. I was about to say, my man is literally spinning quite a lot here. I was a bit worried there. I was a little bit worried there. All right, let's go over here, see if there's anything that activates. No, it's blocked off as well. So we'll go back a little bit now, and we'll stick to the right-hand side of the map as we have been, obviously, so far, and see if we can spawn more shenanigans here, basically, of course, right? But yeah, we'll go through this floor a little bit, and we'll go through the next floor a little tad bit. I'm not going to go through the entire floors because, again, I think you guys now have an idea of exactly what the abyssal exploration is. The rewards, like I've said, are really, really good. What I'm actually going to do is what I will probably skip to the end of this abyssal exploration. I'll go to when I'm about to wrap it up, and I'm gonna obviously show you guys the entire set of rewards because it really is good. It's so good. The rewards are so good, but it does require a little bit of time, and it is a bit of a time investment. It is a grind. This is basically their replayable content. It's like how you farm artifacts and you know, battle item, you know, gear in other games. This is the equivalent of that, basically. This is what they're doing. They're incorporating this as a somewhat of an equivalent, which I'm okay with personally. I'm all right with that whole fact, to be quite honest, because honestly, we needed something like this in the game, to be honest, something for us to like focus on and do, to be honest, because as much as I love you know, the other game modes and stuff, right, like Uncharted Battlefield and stuff, there are some things about those game modes that, you know, obviously once you're done with them, there's no reason for you to go back into them apart from farming one battle item, which is, you know, you easily can get a somewhat decent one, and of course without the locks in the game, which again, that is one change I would like to see in this game, heavily so, is them adding locks into the Uncharted in any game mode, to be honest. Abyssal Exploration, Uncharted Battlefield, wherever they want to add it, they have to add locks at some points, because that is what's going to be the next part of you know, working on your gear, basically, is being able to lock certain passives of your skill of your gear, basically, right? So for me, I think that's the next most important thing. But basically what I'm trying to say is, and what I'm trying to come to is that this is effectively the equivalent of you know, farming gear in the game. So with all these different battle items, so many of them are pretty darn good. Some of them are kind of meh, but a lot of them are very good. The SSR ones are actually pretty decent as well, of course, right? So you want to try and farm as much as possible. You generally do want to farm as much as possible because you will get some good stuff out of it. You really will. So now I'm done with the entire area. I think I've not missed out on anything as far as I can tell. I might be forgetting something, but to be honest, even if I've forgotten something, that's not the point of the video. The video is just to try and get through as much of this as possible and obviously show you guys the rewards. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna we found a secret enemy, I think, here. So once you defeat a certain set of bosses and stuff, right, there is also a chance. Good thing we managed to encounter it. I was going to address it at the end of the video if I didn't spot it in between the video and didn't, you know, pause and bring it back up. But this is perfect. So whenever you defeat a certain set of enemies and, you know, the portal bosses primarily, there's a very good chance you might see some secret enemies and secret mobs spawn in, basically, allowing you to basically get a guaranteed rare drop effectively. So that is also something to keep in mind as to why you should be exploring even after you're done with the portal bosses, and why you should do a quick once around of the entire area to take a look at everything. All right. Anyways, we'll be back in a moment. I'm gonna go skip towards the end. I'm gonna try and complete as much of the lower floors as possible, and once we're done, I will come back to you guys and I will share with y'all the rewards from this run. All right, we are about to approach the finale of the lower floors. I'm going to head to what should be, if I'm not mistaken, the final set of enemies that we should be facing, I think. There we go, the final enemy that we will be facing for today. So let's get it done and dusted, and let's see what rewards I get for my my troubles. Let's say, let's call it my troubles. Oh god, the lag becomes real on the lower floors. I think it's just because of how much time you spend on here. The lag does become real inevitably. But let's go through the portal. That was the final thing we needed to do. So let's see what rewards I end up getting, and of course I'll show you guys as well what the rewards look like as well. Now, I think if you follow the map by number and everything, right, you will get a lot more rewards as well. I'm obviously doing it off of my own style of play, which is just going map-wise, basically, right, and following the right-hand side of the map, old Pokemon style, of course. If you know, you know. But these are the rewards I got. So 6 UR battle items, I think that is. No, 8 Wait, how many? Am I tripping? 7 UR battle items. I struggled to count there for a split second. A bunch of SR battle items as well as SR battle items, which, by the way, are worth it as well. We got a Fragment of Wisdom, which is actually pretty massive as well. Only 1 or 2 SR frags, which is kind of annoying, but a decent amount of rare ones and a good chunk of normal ones. So not bad overall, I'd say. Obviously, we could do a lot better, and I'd love to get more and more frags. I hope, you know, that we do get more and more frags. And to be honest, the 120 stamina for that sort of a haul, including the Fragment of Wisdom, is pretty insane, right? It is pretty insane. I think I've done like 7 or 8 runs of Abyssal Exploration so far, and I am pretty sure I've gotten at least 3 Fragment of Wisdoms thanks to Abyssal Exploration. It is a lot of, it is a very worth it thing. 120 stamina for that is in itself amazing, to be quite honest. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. What do you guys think about Abyssal Exploration? Do you guys like the game mode? Do you guys think there could be more to it as well? Let me know in the comments. I'm quite curious to see what you guys have to say down below. Of course, I do think that they'll keep updating it in the future, and we'll probably get deep floors as well. Like, we'll probably get upper deep floors, lower, middle deep floors, and then the lower deep floors as well, going through, you know, what basically the likes of you know, Ryu and Bell did, of course, in season 4, and what the Loki Familia goes through by going down to the 50th floors and stuff like that, potentially in the future. I'd love to see that happen. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Leave a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel. Like I said, the maps will be in the description down below, so be sure to check them out. And of course, give some love to the guy who created them, of course, as well. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take it easy, everybody. Bye bye.